In this WrestleTalk news, Alexa Bliss reveals the truth behind that Ronda Rousey heat, details on those Ric Flair to AEW rumors, huge plans for tonight's Monday Night Raw, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to Always On for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
So it's Chris Rock versus Will Smith at WrestleMania, right? Last night at the Oscars, Chris Rock made a joke about Will Smith's wife, fellow actor Jada Pinkett Smith's hair loss via alopecia. Smith responded to this joke by heading to the stage and slapped him across the face like he was making trouble in a neighborhood while Chris just wanted to play some b-ball. It was like that Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax thing from Raw that one time. And in one brief, beautiful moment, film Twitter became wrestling Twitter, as viewers were trying to figure out whether this was a work or a shoot, brother, like it was Bash at the Beach 2000 or something. Only they used terms like real and staged. Learn the insider terms, you marks. But just remember, Hulkamaniacs, don't work a work and work yourself into a shoot. Jabroni marks. Much love, HH. Moving over into the wrestling news now, and well, it's about works and shoots, brother. Ronda Rousey's time in WWE prior to her leaving after WrestleMania 35 ended on quite a sour note. WWE had to turn her heel after she posted vlogs about wrestling being fake and how she didn't like WWE fans. And she then doubled down on that in a 2020 podcast interview with Jackass star Steve-O, saying anyone who is outraged by me calling pro wrestling fake fights for fun has never been in a real fight. What am I doing it for if I'm not being able to spend my time and energy on my family, but instead spending my time and my energy on a bunch of ungrateful fans that don't even appreciate me? I love performing, I love the girls, I love being out there, but at the end of the day, I was just like, these fans. Several wrestlers took exception to those comments, including Alexa Bliss, who tweeted about her long-time injury and how that wasn't fake. This also wasn't the first time there appeared to be real-life friction between the two, as Bliss revealed on a 365 documentary for the WWE Network that she suffered a concussion during a match with Rousey at Hell in a Cell 2018 and another concussion during a match with Rousey at a house show. Following Rousey's comments on Steve-O's podcast, Bliss told The Express, "Don't say what we do is fake because that's just insulting. I think she may have some apologizing to do because it was disrespectful and our company is built on respect." This was all used to form an October 2020 article for The Sportster, titled 5 Wrestlers Who Loved Ronda Rousey and 5 Who Disliked Her, which had Bliss listed as an entry, adding that the shade thrown at Rousey from Alexa in the group chat with other WWE women confirmed their heat. A Twitter user by the name of Dreezy D seemingly stumbled across this article over the weekend and asked Bliss to share more details about it. However, Bliss has now shut down those long-standing rumors of heat between the two, saying this is quite comical and not true. I'm only in one group chat, and it's with my bridal party. Keep trying, trolls. That group chat, by the way, reportedly features Avril Lavigne and Nia Jax, which means it's probably full of chat about Chad Kroger loving photographs and Nia Jax telling you COVID isn't real. So a bit of banter about Ronda Rousey might actually brighten the place up a bit. Bliss hasn't been on TV since she was randomly inserted into the Elimination Chamber back in February, and reportedly is not factored in for anything at WrestleMania, tweeting a few weeks ago, "I'll just wait here, I guess." However, there are some big plans for Raw tonight. It's WrestleMania this weekend! Okay, hands up in the comments who else forgot that it was WrestleMania this weekend. But that means tonight isn't just any episode of Raw, it's the Go Home Edition before WrestleMania episode of Raw, which has now been redubbed WrestleMania Raw. And in an effort to drum up last-minute interest for this weekend's stupendous premium live event, WWE have made an effort and stacked Raw to make this a legit must-see show. Raw Tag Team Champions RK Bro will battle SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Usos in the other nights of the year when Raw and SmackDown stars go head-to-head in direct competition, or Survivor Series. Alpha Academy take on the Street Profits, The Miz faces Rey Mysterio, Natalya, Shayna Baszler, Queen Zelina and Carmella take on Sasha Banks, Naomi, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and both Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar will be on the show tonight. And if that wasn't enough, WWE announced yesterday that Bianca Belair will team with Ronda Rousey to take on SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. And not only that, but Seth Rollins has teased something huge for the show, tweeting out a text message he received from Vince McMahon asking him to attend a meeting at WWE's corporate headquarters, which has sparked further rumors that Cody Rhodes will finally be making his WWE return and re-debut on Raw tonight. Granted, we all thought that was going to happen at the Jacksonville show, and it didn't, so I'm not holding my breath for this one. And if that wasn't enough, PW Insider are reporting that Bobby Lashley is going to be on Raw tonight, making his return to the company since he was injured at the Royal Rumble in January. Lashley had to be written out of the Elimination Chamber, where he was removed from his pod due to injury, leading to Brock Lesnar winning back the WWE Championship. It was reported at the time that Lashley would be out for several months. Sean Rossap over at Fightful Select has also reported that Lashley is in town for this week's Raw, but could not confirm if he'll actually be on the show. They did report, however, that the WrestleMania plan for Lashley vs Omos was still on the table, which was also reported by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter last Friday. And that means that Bobby's possible appearance on Raw could be there to set that match up. Interestingly, Fightful note that as of this weekend, the Omos push was scheduled to continue through WrestleMania, which could mean that if the match does happen, Omos might actually pick up the win over the former WWE champion. Sapp does also add, however, anything can change all the way up to the show. SRS is also reporting via Fightful Select that the planned New Day vs Sheamus' Lads match is still happening at Mania despite Big E's injury that he picked up a few weeks ago on SmackDown. The match has now been changed to Kofi Kingston and King Woods vs Sheamus and, oh, Butch. But that isn't confirmed as of yet. SRS adds though that it was reiterated to him that Ridge Holland could still be added to the match, presumably with another partner on New Day's side. I mean, Intercontinental Champion Ricochet has nothing to do at WrestleMania, and it's entirely possible that the match could be scrapped altogether. And while we used Twitter earlier to dispel the idea that there is real-life heat between Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey, there is some legit heat with Ric Flair and a former podcast co-host that has revealed his cancelled All Elite Wrestling plans. When Andrade El Idolo debuted in All Elite Wrestling, his gimmick was that he had a revolving door of managers and mouthpieces, starting with Vicky Guerrero, who was then replaced by Chavo Guerrero, who was then finally replaced by Jose the Assistant. However, the rumor at the time was that this was all being done to set up Andrade's real-life partner Charlotte Flair's father Ric Flair to come into AEW and be his permanent manager. That ended up not happening, with rumors circulating around that time that it was due to the airing of the Dark Side of the Ring episode about the plane ride from hell, where Flair was accused of sexual assault. And this has now been confirmed, at least according to former WCW commentator Mark Madden, in a bizarre public spat with Flair. Madden announced yesterday that he was leaving Flair's podcast, Woo Nation Uncensored, saying that it wasn't a good fit for him anymore due to his busy work schedule, and thanked Flair for the opportunity. Flair responded to this amicable separation by saying, "Actually, I relieved you of your duties. Best of luck with your work. I'll be back and better than ever next Monday." What followed was a quite uncomfortable back and forth between the two, with Madden saying, "Have another drink. God gave you the gift of life a few years back, and you thank him by getting shit-faced every single night like you are right now. You are the greatest wrestler ever. What you've become is sad," and even claiming that several wrestlers reached out to him to call Flair petty and pathetic. And in all of this, Madden replied to a listener who brought up those rumors about Flair to AEW confirmed, saying Rick was planning to work at AEW till the Dark Side episode. Not sure what Tony Khan thought. Khan doesn't talk to Rick now. He disinvited Rick from his birthday party. Speaking of wrestling legends being teased for AEW debuts in managerial roles, and there have been several hints dropped as of late that Bret Hart will be joining All Elite Wrestling as the manager of FTR, which would also tie into the Owen Hart Cup tournament, which has its first qualifier this week on Dynamite. Speaking at the virtual Signed by Superstars this past weekend, Bret was asked about joining AEW AEW and jokingly responded, "Go there and do what? I don't know, Bret, manage FTR or something?" Proud to AEW confirmed. Someone who isn't AEW confirmed but is being paid this weekend by Tony Khan is Denise Salcedo, who was announced for ROH's Supercard of Honor show prior to Khan's announcement that he'd bought the company. Yes, that Denise Salcedo, who was also on WWE's docuseries on Peacock and also works for GCW and Mission Pro Wrestling, does videos with Fightful, us here at WrestleTalk, and has had the lads from Cultaholic on her channel. She really is the forbidden door. Anywho, Denise revealed on last Friday's WrestleTalk podcast that, although she was booked for Supercard of Honor, she didn't know that booking was still going ahead following the Khan purchase until very recently.
So here, this is what happened. So like I was booked for the show, right? Like ahead of the purchase and everything. And then the purchase was made, right? And everybody kept asking me like, "Hey Denise, like, are you still on the show?" And I thought, well, I mean, like they already booked me and like I already said no to like a bunch of other stuff now. Like you're stuck with me, right? And then like as the weeks progressed, I started to think, man, am I booked for this show? I don't even know. So I had to go and put on my little investigator hat and go and ask people until finally I reached out to the right person and was like, "Hey, you know, like this is what's going on. I just, you know, am I booked on this show?" And so like as of like 3 days ago, I'm officially for sure booked on the show.
Hold the phone. So it's been 3 days since it's been fully confirmed. Have you been planning? Like, am I really still?
Well, because I thought like, okay, you know, like they already announced it, so I'm booked for the show. But then afterwards, like it started to get in my head where I was like, maybe I'm not booked anymore. Like maybe things changed. Like no one has told me anything. What's happening? So finally I was like, okay, I need to find out what is going on here. So yeah.
Number 10, The Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 33. I mean, this probably wouldn't be on the list if Undertaker had left his dirty laundry in the ring for his fiend mum to pick up and, you know, then actually retired from wrestling. This would have given the match an emotional weight that would have papered over some of the, how to put this, sadder portions of this match. But now that Undertaker has wrestled other matches and